Welcome to Without a Candle. We are your hosts,
Hey guys, I'm Carla.
and I'm Carlie. Let's just jump on in, shall we?
Good morning.
Exciting. So round 2 is Gary.
Right. Take two.
Take
Right?
2.
Yeah, take
Yeah.
two.
I'm super excited. I have no idea what we talked about the last time, so this is gonna be fun to just chat about all the things again, and it'll be new.
Yeah.
So why don't you introduce yourself and kind of tell us who you are?
Absolutely. My name is Gary, and I run Eye Opener Society. This is just a show that I started 4 years ago, and I have 4 years of story to tell you, and I'll try and condense it down into one little thing. It started as Third Eye Meditation. That was the original show that I did, and that happened because, well, it started in 2022, and just before then, I was doing well, typical guy from the Bronx, New York, solid, strong, and whatever. Never had any problems. But I always practiced meditation. But it wasn't on a spiritual level. It was meditation just to calm down because a lot of jobs I had was high stress and all.
Yeah.
I had done it over 20-something years. And at one point during 2022, I ran into some issues, mental health, because we had a breakdown, my wife and I. I was having problems with my current job then that were very serious, and it was hitting at me. And there was just one day I couldn't take it anymore, and I went home, and my wife was just inconsolably crying. I've never heard her cry like that to the point where we couldn't calm her down. And then with every energy that I had in me, it brought up all the horror. Yeah, it was horrid. And for me to experience that for the first time was difficult. I said, it's great to meditate. I didn't even want to meditate because I was afraid if I go into that meditative state, all of this negative energy was just going to manifest with me the whole time.
Yeah.
I was scared, and I just didn't want to do it. So a little bit of a backstory. My wife, she always makes what I call her little hex bags. She does that for people that she's close with, or they come to her. And a friend of ours came to her saying, hey, listen, I want to get pregnant, and can you make a bag? So we were looking for a shop, a metaphysical shop in the area that was open at that time.
Yeah.
So we found this little shop that the girl Jen was working from home, and it's Mind's Eye Metaphysical. We went in there, and we were graced with this amazing presence. This person, amazing. So we developed a little bit of friendship there at that time. But what I did see in that shop was her little flyers for all the Reiki sessions and all that she does and her services that she offered. So I always put it on the back burner because I didn't know exactly what Reiki was.
Yeah.
I heard it. I knew it existed. I had no idea really what it entailed or anything. So I'm going through this really bad time, and I couldn't meditate. I couldn't do anything. This is 2022. So after the whole 2020 thing, I couldn't believe how hard it was to find counseling, therapy. And it was like, oh, sorry, we're booked for the next 20 years. Sorry for your loss. So I had to sit with this for a little while. I finally found someone who was open, and I started going for the counseling. And amazingly enough, what I found out with that the very first day, he sat me down and he's like, what I want you to do is, I forgot exactly what it was like, I want you to take a deep breath. I said, are you talking about meditation?
Yeah.
I was like, so it hit me. So I was like, wow, so we are starting to come full circle with this holistic healing. I said, that's wonderful. I said, but I've been meditating. You don't have to tell me about that. I'm here for a reason. But it started to help. But at that same time, things were falling apart. And I couldn't seem to get myself out of it. And I recalled the little flyers for the Reiki, and I said, what is it going to hurt for me to go there? Yeah, and give it a shot and see what's there. So she had the trauma healing one. I said, we might as well go full on,
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Right. So I said, let's do it. So I laid on that table. I had my eyes closed the whole time. I was relaxed. Jen did whatever Jen did. And as soon as the session was over, I'm a living testament to the fact that I just sat up and I was like, this is amazing. Why am I even worrying about any of these troubles? They're so small. And I said, you know what? I always wanted to start my own business. As soon as I walked out that door, I started planning. I got home. I started Third Eye Meditation, which was a meditation counseling.
Yeah.
And although it didn't really take off the way I wanted it to, the surprising little nugget with that, I started doing little podcasts as a way to promote my business without spending money. I said, this is great. Started on YouTube and all. Well, the podcast started to take off. It launched, and I was like, wow, I said, look at all these views. So I just started going into it, and we were talking about all sorts of things, mental health, because my stepdaughter Hannah, I mean, she was very open with it. She had a very traumatic childhood, and she still suffers today from a lot of anxiety, depression, whatever else, name it. But she was able to freely talk about it, which helps. And I realized that the more you talk and you release that energy, it helps. So we talked a lot about that, and then we started going down a few rabbit holes because I'm a huge conspiracy theorist person. I love that. I love going down those rabbit holes. So it was a mishmash of a lot of stuff with the original Eye Opener Society. And then after a while, we had another traumatic thing with Hannah and her divorce, and we had to leave that house immediately, which was so saddening because we had a built-in studio. So the whole Eye Opener Society had a studio.
Yeah.
And we were so comfortable with that. But with all of the, and I call it drama now, but it's worse, we had to leave. We had to find a place. My wife and I went and found the first thing we found, a smaller apartment, and no big deal. But because of Hannah's divorce, she couldn't talk openly on the air. That's not a good thing legally. So she stepped away. She was going through all of her traumas at the time. So I went back and started doing solo episodes again. And then once we moved right there around the Christmas time, my wife was in a car accident. Nothing spectacular, but it was during a tremendous snowstorm. I couldn't get to the hospital, and I started breaking down again, and I just don't know why. And I started doing the wrong things again. Oh, she's in an accident. She's okay. But now I'm thinking financial loss. We just lost a car that I just spent money, and now we got to go out and get another. And I started allowing these things. And I think just because at that time where we were sitting, new change, new roof over our head, new way of going about life, it started to manifest again. And I said, well, it's not going to take me over that much this time.
Okay.
I said, I know what to do now.
Yeah.
So I started going back to my show, and I started talking about it. I went back for another therapy session, at least now my current job, they offer it, so it was a little bit more freely accessible now for me, which I was like, oh, thank you so much for that. I went through that therapy session, and I started to get better. And that's when I started realizing, the meditation, the spirituality, the metaphysics, this is not some phony mumbo jumbo. This is actual healing, and it works, and people need to accept it. And I'm not saying dump all of your medications and stop seeing your doctor. I mean, I'm not a doctor myself, but this is something that should be incorporated or at least tried.
Yeah.
So the show started going on. I found another co-host, Jennifer Miller. She was a guest on the show way back when, and she worked. At that time, it was just a great connection.
Yeah.
She helped me through that period, and then she had to leave. So I went back to solo again. And then, I don't know, I was introduced to TikTok, and I caught it right at the tail end when it was still good,
Yeah.
And I just started watching this girl, Lizzie, and I'm watching her stuff, and I'm like, this girl's got something to say. And it kept popping up on my feed. I started listening. I started going into her Instagram. I said, I got to have her on the show. And I just thought maybe as a guest, but I said, she has more to say than just a guest.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm just going to wing it. And I shot a text, and I was like, hey, do you want to co-host a podcast with me?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. She got back to me so excited because she always wanted to do her own show.
Yeah.
And it worked. And we became like integrated instantly.
Good.
She was able to see the Eye Opener Society vision.
Mm-hmm.
She was able to give me feedback, give a little bit of what she would like, and a little bit of, I gave her what I would like.
Yeah.
And she's still on the show to this day. She's an amazing person, energy, Lizzie,
Yeah.
Lizzie, and that's her TikTok handle. If anybody wants to follow her, she's amazing because she works with all this architecture of energy, and she's gets downloads crazy. You could tell by her energy, and she tries to figure it out and interpret it. And if anybody was to work with her, it's chaotic, but it works. I worked with her in a few sessions. Very chaotic, but it breaks down. So we have this new vision of Eye Opener Society.
Okay.
All right, and it's spectacular because in energy work, we spoke about this. Words, they mean something, right? You say every time you say something, it comes back at you. So I said, well, what's next for Eye Opener Society? Where are we going with this? I said, you know what? I don't like the word podcast anymore. It's so yesterday. I said, I want something more. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to drop the word podcast and just, the Eye Opener Society show. It's a show. And since I've done that, metaphysically, it changes.
Okay.
Yeah, numbers start to rise up a little bit more because it's something new. I mean, I didn't make any changes, but I feel that the show is now going to go other places because I see a bigger vision for it. So I want you both to interview me, and then I want you before the end to ask me what direction I'm going in because I got something I would like to share with you on your show only.
Okay.
How exciting. And I shared a little snippet of what I just mentioned to Carly like last week about our bigger picture. And
I forgot
I don't want to say a whole lot, but do you remember now?
No.
Like, what if this was done in front of,
Oh, yes.
like, if there was more witnesses? I'll put it that way, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of, and that sparked something with you. You got excited about that.
Yes,
too.
it did.
Yeah.
We're excited. Yeah. But I want to hear again, how you guys connected.
Okay.
Right? And that organic conversation. And I'm just excited if you'll rehash that for me.
So it started with you and I sitting at the kitchen table that no longer exists in here.
Surprise.
And we were chatting about something like we do, and you looked at me and go, man, that would have been good as a podcast. We should have recorded that or something. And somebody else walked in and said, yeah, a podcast would be great. I think it might have been Jamisa. Maybe. And I looked at you and I was like, fuck no. Like, we're not adding another thing, right? And then I gave it a week and I started thinking about it and I do my thing and I go research and I get on Facebook and I join all the groups because why not, right? Join all the groups and I start going through all like the posts and the comments just to kind of see if my questions can be answered, right? And it wasn't quite getting them. So I made a post in this group. I don't even remember. It's called like Podcasters on Facebook or something.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And I made a post to be like, hey, I'm new. Where do I start? Like, give me all the tips and tricks, right? Well, there's a couple comments. Gary was one of them. And something about him and the energy off of that comment, he was the only one I commented back to. And I was like, yeah, I'll email you. He dropped his email. He's like, email me, ask all the questions. I'm happy to help. And I think it was a couple days later I finally did. And I emailed him. And I was like, hey, thank you so much. Like, this is what I'm looking for. This is like, I know nothing, And he sent back like a story of like all the information. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And it just went from there. Like, we just back and forth every couple days, because work and all the stuff. And it got down to, he's like, I would love to have you guys on my show. And I'm like, wonderful. And I don't know, I think it was your idea. Like, you wanted to come down and visit. And I'm like, here's our dates. And I told Carla, I'm like, hey, there's this guy. He's going to come down. And she's like, cool, let's do it. And it went from there. And that first time you came down, you helped us with the crap soundboard that I got off fucking Amazon. I was a piece of shit. I was like, I don't even know why I got that.
Growing pains.
Yeah, for sure. That didn't last long. Literally, it didn't, like, maybe 2 episodes. Not even, because we used that to record yours, and here we are.
Yeah,
Like,
second round.
Yeah. So, that's my take and my view on it. You have anything you want to add, or what I skipped?
No, I think you've pretty much hit it. As soon as I hear somebody say, hey, I'm starting a podcast, can you help?
Yeah.
I'm always so scared. I'm like, please let me be the first one to reach the inbox because the worst thing I think with anybody starting out with podcasting is the scammers that come on there. Because even to today, I have to block messages, from my Facebook or anything, because it's just overwhelming. People, I'll help you with this, and and they're all from other countries, and
Yeah.
I said, please don't let it happen to these people. I said, let me get in there and just say, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. And I think though there's more of a crazy connection that I felt over everything. I said, and the fact that not only is it a podcast, I said, they have this metaphysical shop and they have all of these services, and I love metaphysical shops. And I was like, this is amazing. I said, how great would it be for me to go down and do my first road trip and actually take my show on the road?
Yeah.
And ever since then, like I said, the both of you became instant family. I can't even say friends. It's just you guys are family. And now I just want to expand everything with you guys and integrate and everything else.
Daydream together is always a bigger dream when more people can see the vision.
Yeah, for sure.
And feed that vision.
Yeah.
You know?
When we were going into season 2 and we knew we wanted to interview our community, right? We had just started interviewing people on random days, trying to work them in the schedule, and it started getting really chaotic. And Carla was like, Carly, we really need to do like 1 or 2 days of just massive amount of people. And so we planned it, right? We had all the things, and 2 weeks ago I looked at Carla and was like, is this going to be crazy? Do you think Carrie will come down? And she's like, we can just ask.
Well, because we had just had new awareness on some more difficulties behind the scenes with sound, right?
Yeah. And I was
going, shit, within an hour you figured it out. You fixed it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
But that had me in my head for like a week because I'm like, how am I gonna figure out the sound, try to make sure that that's all good with back-to-back ones, and I'm like, we need Gary. we need Gary. Help me. So going back to like the family thing, like we knew that even if you couldn't be here, we would have done a Zoom and you would have been like, Carly, this is what you need to do, right? Like we knew we could have counted on you. And that is like amazing because we don't have that very often, right? So like having that type of support is invaluable. So thank you first and foremost.
And even the way you guys show up, right? Yeah. You guys show up like when Carly has family come in, they understand that we still have other things to do. When my mom visits, she knows that we still have things to do. And I love that you guys still show up.
And appreciate that.
I appreciate that we have things going on.
Yeah. Hell, even Melissa, she's like, give me the list. I'll check everybody in for you guys. Like, she's helping Monique out there. Like, it's
just a fellowship.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We love that so much. Yeah. So what have you learned the last day or so?
Well, I've learned that it's great to get away and come help people out. It's great to get away from work and take an extra day off. But again, you guys did need something. You needed help. And, as small as it was, it doesn't matter. I said, I'm going to make the 8-hour drive because I love going down there, first of all. But beyond that, it's like, this is kind of what I like doing as well. But I learned that it's just like eye-opener society, and that's the word, society. We are all bonded together. And I've learned that, immensely through the past few years. But to come and help out and sit here and see, because just so the audience knows, I was kind of behind the scenes doing the background, the actual recordings of the shows, the production basically. So I've seen it from a different angle. And the guests that you've had in here, some of them really sat as I'm sitting. I was like, wow. I said, I'm here immersed live in this, and I'm feeling the energy from these guests, and it's very emotional. It's very touching. It's very uplifting. And that too, that expands that community. Learning about new people, seeing new people, and being able to help friends or family. I call you guys family now. So, but that's what I've learned. I've learned how much it is to actually step up and help and
be
be there, and be involved in it.
That's amazing.
The sense of purpose across the board.
For sure.
Yeah, we love that so much.
So, going back to your story and your spirituality, how has getting into the metaphysics and getting a spiritual practice daily helped you through those mental challenges? How has that helped you?
It's pretty amazing because I've always had different views. I was raised Catholic, so obviously there's a story there. It seems like everybody raised Catholic winds up on this side of the fence. No offense to anybody who is Catholic, but what we have to understand, there's dogmas with all religions. Once we erase those dogmas and we really kind of break it down, it's all metaphysical in some way, shape, or form. So I was always learning little tidbits, but nothing more than when I went through all of this emotion. What helped me is to really open my eyes and say, wow, metaphysics, just from what I hear, there's so many aspects to it. And even all the conspiracy theories and the rabbit holes that I go down to, I said, there's a correlation between all of this, So once I started to figure it out in my own head, my basic modality is meditation. Obviously, that's where I fall back on all the time. That's what I use. Spiritually, it instantly grounds me. At this point in my life, I don't have to find that quiet spot and do my meditation. I could remain all day in a meditative state. It's just a different frequency of the mind, And what that does, though, it's constantly telling you all that negative shit that's around you is not allowed in.
Yeah.
You can push it away.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that I learned. And beyond that, then I started finding all these other modalities, and I started getting into the oracle cards, and I started to get into just intuition from working with other psychics. And I said, this again is a society, and there's people out there, no matter what you do, whether it's a Reiki session, whether it is give me any other modality, it helps. And I think it helps more than modern medicine does.
Good. I love that.
So as of recently, we now share a study. So has it been a couple weeks ago when I sent you
It's been a
information?
month.
Has it?
Oh, that cracked me up. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's another story. We'll share that in a second. But I sent you some information on one thing, and that did sit with you, but big is just not quite right. So you found I have something. Yeah. But through that you found the university of Sedona, right? Metaphysics. Right. So how has that shifted over the last month?
Yeah, I'm not going to reveal too much on that simply because it mixes in with the direction I'm going, which is a big surprise.
So we'll still learn.
So we'll still learn. But yeah, it was interesting because I've always been, I hate the word certification and being certified. I mean, if you have, well, we all have natural gifts. It's just, we don't know how to sometimes bring them forward. People don't understand. We've been kind of deprogrammed from this. So let's just say you are a psychic, right? You have this ability, you can see, into the future, whatever it may be. Why do you need a certification on the wall for that? That's always been my problem with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this entire field is all about learning. There's a bunch of stuff I have no idea about, and I'm learning your Akashic records and all of that. I said, amazing stuff. I said, I would love to learn this. So I said, let me start small before I start jumping ahead. And just when I was on your website, Appalachian Rootworks, Rooted in Runes, check them out.
Thank you.
But I seen that, some of your certifications came from this University of Sedona. So I said, I looked it up real quick. I said, it's affordable, which is always a big thing. I know everybody's got that problem financially. I said, let me start a base. Let me start getting some sort of knowledge and having that certificate, because I think it does help somewhat.
Yes.
A lot of people want to see that you are trained, But here's the thing, because I could get that certification, and then I could go and teach you how I meditate, not how instructors taught me how to meditate. Right. There's a way, because I think it becomes a business, just buy that certification and whatnot, because I could do the same thing. But it's good. It's a very good class. It's really giving me that foundation that you need to start understanding the metaphysical side of it from the view of a classroom, rather than from just saying, hey, you just need a certification. It's giving you an actual structured form. where I could get up, go online, and it's all online, so it's at my pace.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. It's been working. It really has.
And they have some amazing YouTube documentaries as well. So that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So now I am still working through that program, and I'll probably be a student of that program for the rest of my life.
Right.
So that's kind of tricky, right? I love it. And I still go watch, all those videos and stuff repeatedly, but I'm not sure I'll ever be finished with it.
Yeah.
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 But Carly and I also have kind of been back and forth with the certification thing too. And it's taken a while for me to wrap my head around that some people just need to see that, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like with our modalities. Does that make sense? So Matt, for example, is a medium who uses tarot, right, to help share his story, but he doesn't need tarot.
Right.
The client on the other side of the table needs him to use tarot, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of see the certifications like that too. But there's things that I do that I don't have a certificate for, and when I share that kind of perspective, is if I had to choose someone with a certification, or if I had to choose someone with 6 years experience, give me the experience.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
I do like some of these classes because what I'm finding is that even though I know it, sometimes it's tricky to articulate it, and it's tricky to share and tricky to teach, right? So I really appreciate being able to hear all the different variations of verbiage and explanation, especially with Reiki. I think Carly was shocked this year when I took another Reiki class. She's like, you still, yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. So, but I can't lie, since you keep secrets really well, damn it. But I kind of can't think of anything else because I just want to know what you're up to.
No.
Everybody wants to know. Do you have any other questions, or do you have anything else you want to share before you dig in?
I want to know more about your meditations. Are you still offering that? Are you still is that still part of the show? Is it separate? Like
Yeah, very good question, because I still offer it, and it's non-monetary. I'm still dealing with that because I actually did a solo episode about because I seen a Facebook post and I read comments. Never do that.
Yep.
Negative energy.
Yeah.
However, it did make me realize there's something going on where I feel there should be a show. Should spirit workers, light workers, whomever it may be, anybody in the metaphysical, should they charge for their work? And I was like, well, why shouldn't they? And I heard all the arguments. Well, if you're a true healer, you want to do it. Jesus never did. Jesus didn't have car insurance. Jesus didn't have a roof over his head where he needed. There's a whole world now where, unfortunately, this day and age, we're in a 3D world, and unfortunately, money makes it go. Most of these holistic healers, most of these people, all have shops like you guys. You got to pay rent. You got to pay the electric. You can't do everything for free. And then I said, most of the light workers, most of the spiritual healers, if you follow them on any social media, they do a lot of sessions for free. Well, they'll sit there and, okay. But now if you want to say, wow, I'm really touched by that, and I want something more personal, well, pay for it.
Yeah.
That's time. It's just an exchange of energy. Many of them, if you talk to them, say, I really can't afford it, can work something out.
Oh, yeah. We use the barter system all the time.
It's nothing wrong with it. So going back to your question, I am working with, and I work with energy right now, because a lot of times if I go out there and I say, come to me for meditation, where I like to do something more specific to the individual, where I can say, give me your insight, what it is you're trying to achieve, and make it much more personal rather than just a random guided meditation.
Yeah.
Reach out to me at eosmeditation@gmail.com, and I will work with you. Right now, I have a few clients, and they came to me just by chance, actually. So I work off a frequency. Yeah. And I found that so much better than trying to do it business-wise. Yes, down the line, I would love to get that out there. I would love to start doing meditation classes and teaching people all the different ways to meditate, teaching the way I meditate, because that's the thing. You could come up with something yourself and teach it. Meditation is not as hard as you think. There's a lot of myths about it. So yeah, if I work with anybody, it's going to be more spiritually connected right now. But if you want to reach out to me, email me and we can do something. Absolutely.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have more to add to that?
I'm just excited for that, because that also allows organic growth of word of mouth and referrals, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that is long term the best kind of growth.
Oh,
right?
100%. I feel like that is what kind of makes the long-term clients, not the one-time sessions. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when you really have that testimony from, you know, Auntie, and she's like, you need to go to this, and she full on like, this has helped me, all the things, and now she's sending her friends and she's sending her family to you, and they're gonna take her testimony into account and be like, wow.
Because it's exhausting. For a long time, we spent so much energy trying to convince others that they needed us.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that doesn't always work, because they may not know that they need something.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So I'm sure you have seen the structure of how we make our Facebook posts. It's just day-to-day posts now, like trying to just show people the everyday stuff, not trying to sell them something.
Right.
Yeah, we'll mention like, hey, we've got this new thing, or hey, you know, we have a service day, but we do have to, you know, remind people of those things sometimes. But it's not a hard sell.
Even those almost fill up before they're published, right?
Yeah.
Because we are working on a wait list often, you know, and that was a commitment. So there's a question after that, but one of our commitments to ourselves in 2026 was allowing ourselves more time and honoring our value, right? Because in years past, we would fill the schedule so full for everyone else, but we didn't put ourselves on the schedule, right? So that shifted. So how, in the last, you know, with the new awareness, how are you finding and being reminded of your value?
I just through my show alone, a lot of it, everything is energy. And just like I said, even with the meditation, clients, getting people in, you're working with people, you're working with those energies. You have to understand, and I am a living witness because my wife, Melissa, who's here, she has these amazing gifts. And she's so powerful. But she's trying to understand them. And if she tries to work, it depletes her entire system. That's where valuing yourself comes in. You have to, in this type of field, understand you are the healer. You're the most important person. But if you're healing through any modality, that is, you're expending so much energy that you do need that time to step back and say, I need time for me so I can heal me before I can heal others.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. I've learned like through my job, my regular 9 to 5, where I'm working all the time. I need time for myself. Because if I'm doing that all the time, I can't explore all these other fun things that I really want to do. So I'm learning that, and that's what I've learned about valuing myself.
And we've been more forward, right? Like when someone comes in for a Reiki session, or an attunement, or, you know, a reading with Carly, there's more sacrifice that we choose to do before a client even walks in. So if we have an energy work day, most of the time we're fasting, right?
Right.
And if we're not a full fast, then we're definitely fasting from low vibration consumptions, right? So physically, that's different kinds of food, so meat free, right? And then, you know, energetically, I don't listen to the radio or watch TV much anyway, but I'm definitely, you know, listening to those audiobooks or my mantra music, you know, that kind of stuff. And so there's more sacrifice before people would show up, right? Going out to dinner. So that's family time sacrifice that we do for our clients as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just a day of services, and you have the same concept, right?
Absolutely.
So to get into that mindset, to be prepared, to offer a practice, there are sacrifices.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
For sure.
there are. And it's great that you bring that up, because a lot of people don't realize, like, if you go into a practitioner and say, oh, let's just use Reiki, I'm going to go in that, and that practitioner has just been sucking up all the low vibrations and all day long, and say, well, I'm just going to do the session. Hey, that's being placed back now onto the client, and people don't realize that. And even a client of mine, like a guy in touch with me at night, oh, please, I need a oracle reading. I need to know. And I sat, and I was like, I was not in any space to pull those cards out, and I just had to say, I'll get to you first thing in the morning. It'll be a lot different. I could do the for me. It's great when they understand that, because I don't want to just pull a card with some weak reading or something that's probably not going to be related, because my energies are now going into that card. So you're absolutely right. There is a lot of sacrifice that's got to go on for even the smallest things.
And so there's and then aftercare, right? So energetic hygiene is a thing, right? So doing our clearings for ourselves, doing our meditations for ourselves. So there's aftercare as well. So when you get an hour session or an hour meditation, you don't just get an hour.
No,
right? You get a day before. You usually get a day after of what we have to offer.
Yeah,
You know.
sure.
And
for
so,
me, if I do stuff at home, I do extra because I have a child in my home. You know, I have a very small house. I don't have a dedicated space that I can go in where he's not, you know, so I take extra precautions on top of that. And thankfully, I do have a couple clients that do readings with me from a Facebook group that are just regulars now. And they understand, like, if they message me at any point in the day, they know they're not getting a reading from me right away. Most of the time, it's going to be the next day when I have time to prepare.
So, something I would suggest for you going forward with your practice is, just because you work from home or remotely, wherever you decide to, because I know you want to travel, office hours are important. And setting those boundaries, right? Setting those boundaries and setting those office hours. And if that's just Saturday evening from 6 until 9, then you're either on my appointment list or you're on the wait list. Like, you do not get full access to me 24/7.
No.
And if it's emergency, maybe there's an exception, but it comes with an emergency cost. If you call an emergency HVAC repair, what happens?
You need to be little boy cry wolf, actually.
So, and that also helps the client to understand not just the value, but they may boundaries, and that they may need to also learn to self-regulate, right? So with meditation, that is another good point. Like, yes, if you need me, I am here during my business hours or at an emergency cost. But so we don't have this again, let me teach you a self-regulation session first, right? And that might even be a go-to for your clients before they become a bigger part of your energy work clientele. So moving forward, Carla and I had talked about, with our long-term Reiki clients, I may request that they have a clearing first. Because if we are spending even if it's just an hour a week, which is pretty typical, a weekly session, if we're spending an hour a week and we're not making amazing progress, or we're not having amazing results, then there's probably a reason why, right? So let's clear some of the stagnant energy. Let's clear some of the attachments, and let's work on the essence of you, right? Because it's a lot more than that.
It's a whole thing.
I mean, even meditation is supposed to calm everything. Like, my problem with it, I could go into a deep meditative state. People don't realize at some point I got to go back to the 3D world, and that takes so much energy, and you're hit hard making that transformation. There's ways around it. Like, I like to stay in my 3D in my meditative state in the 3D world, but sometimes that's not very realistic.
I do that with the Akashic Record sometimes, and depending on the workload of the mundane life, that like being in my records bogs me down by the end of the day. I'm like, I should have only done like an hour, half day. Fuck,
Lessons learned, though,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But sometimes it's just nice because to me, being in my records is kind of being in a meditative state as well. It's very soft. It's very loving. It's very just, it's not really euphoric, but it does give me an uplifted feeling, right?
Right.
So yeah, I totally get wanting to be in that all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
So I just heard from you, transcendental. Am I saying that right? We'll come back to that.
Transcendent?
No.
Transcendental?
It sounded different in my head.
Okay. Well, we'll circle
Transcendental
back.
meditation.
Yeah.
That's more of the Hollywood. That's more of the expensive meditation where it's mantra based. I don't teach it. I don't know much of it.
Yeah.
I have my own ways of doing things. Everybody's going to develop their own way of doing a meditative state.
That state of like blissness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could get that from any form of meditations.
Yeah. Man. So, do you want to share a little bit about your conspiracy theories? Like, what's your favorite one?
My biggest, like when it comes to going down rabbit holes, I've always been fascinated with outer space. And so, obviously, all the aliens and UFOs and stuff from an early age, I always looked up in the skies. Oh, what is that? Oh, I see something that just didn't fit right. So, but it was normal childhood curiosity, basically, until I witnessed my first actual UFO encounter in upstate New York. And to see this thing, to witness it, and when you take everybody else's stories and you start piecing it together, and there was a dog that was involved, and the dog's barking like crazy up at the sky, and to witness this huge craft that is obviously not made with human, within our terrestrial, Earth, and the way it moves, and other people seeing it with you. I became so fascinated and I fell down so many rabbit holes. And now here we are in 2026, and there's congressional hearings from whistleblowers saying we have alien bodies, we have alien craft, we reverse engineered a lot of this stuff. So now when you're looking up, you're probably seeing something that was made by us, but it was reverse engineered. So that's one of my biggest conspiracies. And at this point, conspiracy theory is just a word. I don't like it, but I like to use it because I throw it back at everybody.
I like the word concept. Like it's a different concept. Like a different concept of reality. So, Andy Palmer and John L. Webster of the
Spirit
Release Academy, and their founder,
Terrence Palmer.
Yeah, thank you, Carly. I'm like, it all blank today. Sometimes I get so excited I lose all the things. I'm just like, how can I share this fast enough? They talk about dark energy attachments that have never been human.
Right.
So what does that mean, though? You know what I mean?
Right.
And this group has thousands of documented cases that they pull from, and it's just mind-blowing.
So adding to that, it's cases done by a certified protocol, with an 80% success rate.
Yes, and I actually seen that YouTube video, and that was good. Like when we're looking at it, when you're actually taking statistics and tying it all into like medical field almost. Yeah, it makes the reality of paranormal, whatever you want to call it, more of a reality.
Yeah,
and it's just the way we live.
Yeah,
we are living in a 3D, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on around us from all different dimensions. Science can prove some things, but can't prove others. But my experience with a UFO, even if nobody believed me, I know that was a personal experience. I felt everything there. People that see ghosts, they know what they witnessed. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
Speaking of stories, and before we go any further, I did not throw in, because I wanted to, when it comes to eye-opener, society. And the word society meant a lot to me. So people know I'm not the only show on my show
Mm-hmm.
that I do want to give them a lot of credit because they really work hard and just the paranormal sparked it. Um, I started with Ann Lund, who does Haunted and Waiting,
Mm-hmm.
and she's a childhood friend back in high school. She lived in a haunted house, and I was
I
there.
love her.
I experienced. I'm glad you do. I just came to her with the idea saying you need to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But you could check her out at hauntedandwaiting.blog because she's an inspiring writer. She does her own paranormal hunts, especially in the outdoors. She goes to all these abandoned places. She's full of fantastic true stories.
Mm-hmm.
And
We
before
should
the
have her
blog
for
goes up,
those.
should. And you could probably have her on the show too. I highly recommend her. She's really, and her storytelling is fantastic. And, just the way her words flow. So Haunted and Waiting is one podcast that's on Eye Opener Society. And then I have Elaine Arcane. She's been with me since Third Eye Meditation. She's always been quietly in the background, and I always had a link to her and she does tarot readings and astrology.
Her astrology readings are so fascinating.
Yeah.
My childhood friend Ashley, she's big in astrology, and
Mhm.
every time her new episode comes, I always send it to Ashley. I'm like, listen, and then we go back and forth for like hours about how like accurate it is in our lives right now. It's funny.
That's great because I feel she is extremely accurate.
So where is she located?
She is in Indiana. She can be found. She does all of her work.
Where in India?
Oh, I forgot the town.
We're like how far away?
Do you want to take a ride now?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Your bags are packed,
I will get will get the actual location, but if you visit our website, elainesarcanetarot.com,
I'm gonna look that up.
yeah, look it up. But cause she just works so often, you can even text her.
Yeah.
And I think for her accuracy, she really does not charge what she should be charging.
So she's undervaluing.
Yes, she is completely undervaluing herself. I've had that conversation with her, but this is how her energy works, and she's amazing. So Elaine's Arcane Oracle is the other one. And since Ann Lund did Haunted and Waiting, she got me back in touch with another old friend, Sunset Child. Sunset Child opened up so many doorways for me when I had a quick phone interview with her. I was like, okay, just stop talking, stop, start recording. I said, this way we could get the show on the air. She lives spiritually in a fifth dimension, sixth, seventh. Why limit yourself to dimension?
Absolutely,
So everything she hears, sees, feels, her theories she develops, sometimes you gotta listen to the show twice because she's just talking and you're not understanding.
Yeah.
But after a couple days, it starts to come together somehow. It's like, wait a minute, I just experienced something in life, and I could apply to what Sunset Child had said. So, Sunset Child's Out There podcast, another amazing one. Okay. And then, more recent, I fell into another TikTok host, Hannah Rose. She does sound therapy, wears sound bowls and all the sound healing, and she was just doing it on TikTok. And I said, "Wow, you got something too."
Yeah.
She's co-hosted a few of our shows, but she does The Sound Within, and she does her own podcast where she just has her thoughts, her feelings, very soft-spoken, very relaxing. And now she's starting to do her sound bowl, like full 30 minutes of her just working the sound bowls, which is amazing because I'm so in tune with sound. So those are Sound Within, Haunted and Waiting, Elaine's Arcane Oracle. Don't forget to check them all out because they're amazing. And Sunset Child's Out There podcast. So
we'll have to tag team meditation and sound bath because currently, before my meditations, I offer a little bit of a journey for closure. And then we do the sound bath. And then I do not a play, fucking shit. See, we don't filter. I do an audio of another meditation just to wrap up. Right. So I'm like, maybe sometime we can tag team some of that.
We'd love to. I think they're all open to coming on and cross-referencing and cross podcasts. I think that would be fantastic.
I just envisioned like a whole like everybody in the society coming here for some type of retreat. And it's like, I don't know. That's gonna be a workshop.
That's a workshop.
That's a workshop. But that would be so cool. Could you imagine like how okay. Anyway, before we wrap up, share our
I got a surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was it a surprise?
No.
No,
Well,
it wasn't
shit.
a surprise.
Okay. What's the surprise?
Well, with all of the learning that I've been doing, there's a reason too. I went to University of Sedona, and I'm getting the accreditation. Between Lizzie and I, we've been talking about it. We're sharing ideas. So just what I have now is still basic. And remember, words mean something.
Yeah.
Way back in Third Eye Meditation, I had this joke, and that's why it never worked out, that I was going to be a church.
Okay.
So because I fiddled around with it, it's just a joke. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I am
Right.
opening a church,
Okay.
and it's going to be a spiritual,
Yeah.
no dogmas,
Yeah.
non-denominational.
Yeah.
Anybody can attend. How it starts, whether we're going to start online and then go for a physical location, yet to be seen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all thoughts. So
Okay.
again, this is podcast time. My announcement now, I may have already started the church when you're listening. We don't know. But that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
It's something I've been so passionate about because, again, all this talk about healing people and bringing folk, the only way really to do it, sometimes not everybody's going to hear your show. Not everybody's going to have access to it. But when you have a church and you bring that community together,
Yeah.
and you could start doing your teachings, and I can have different practitioners in there teaching their ways, I'm ready for it. And that's what we're doing. And of course, you guys can be involved in any way, shape, or form.
Resources.
Yeah.
And if you need, I'm sure you've got resources already for like an accountants and CPAs that can kind of help you along the nonprofit.
Building block. Yeah, the nonprofit 501. Yeah, that's going to be somebody else's thing. But once that's in place, I'm basically ready to fly out.
We love that so much. So back in 2021, that's everybody's like, you just need to have a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And not having a nonprofit this year has hindered us, right?
Yeah.
There were some opportunities that we could have had if we were a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Right.
There's some organizations out there that only work with nonprofits.
Right.
And that's really limited us,
Yeah.
To what we have access to.
Yeah.
Because accessibility is a huge thing with us, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to planning retreats and destinations like that, it does need to cost something.
Right.
Right. But
Absolutely.
it's not supposed to be only accessible to the most fortunate.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's a passion. And I am so happy that someone else, because that's part of what we share too, is that as a community, we want these things, but we don't always have to be the one to do those things.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing gift.
Yeah.
Just to know that's one less thing we don't have to do.
Yeah, we can
So
be a
thank
part
you.
of it, and
Absolutely.
like we know that it's in the community, and it's going to be such a valuable resource for the people.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited.
All right, guys.
Okay.
So I guess until next time, we'll see when we see ya.
All right.
And bye, y'all.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that wraps up another episode of Without a Candle with Carly and Carla. We appreciate you, and
We'll see you next time.